Hello, welcome to the Bronze Age Monsters bonus show. This is a show we make each and every week for our loyal and loving patrons. We watch a movie that is themed to whatever we're doing in the season of our main show. This season is Bronze Age Buffet. We're going to be talking about a bunch of different monsters. Specifically we just talked about a Brother Voodoo issue. So we're going to be talking about a voodoo movie that we watched. It is the blaxploitation movie called Sugar Hill. That is from 1974, directed by Paul Maslansky, starring Marky Bay, Robert Quarry, and Don Pedro Colley. And yeah, we watched it on our Discord with all of our patrons and had a blast doing it, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah. So Paul Maslansky, as you might have guessed, is not a black man.
It is not. This is the other kind of blaxploitation,
yes,
not the good kind.
So I definitely I don't draw a hard line. Like I won't not watch stuff that was. I guess we talked about this earlier on, where the term blaxploitation often is a misnomer because it was made by black crews and directors and writers with black casts intended for black audiences on a different kind of distribution scale. That's not exploiting anybody. That's making art and distributing it to an audience that you're trying to speak to. However, when someone goes, "Oh, I like that," and they're making these little movies are making a bunch of money. Let's get the Whitey Widerson out there and make one. That's when it becomes blaxploitation. So I don't know Paul Maslansky. I don't know him at all. I don't know his. I will say this. He's associated mostly with the Police Academy movies. So
he is.
There you go. So, he might be a sweet guy. He might be the nicest guy in the world. He might have loved this project and been totally all about it and not going, using the N-word and saying, "Well, let's get some money off these guys," whatever. He probably was a sweetheart. I don't know. So nothing is black and white, no pun intended. When it comes to this stuff, there's all kinds of nuance and stuff like that I'm not privy to as a stranger to these people. So just want to note that this was directed by a guy that's not a black person. So maybe the handle of blaxploitation applies more in this case. I don't know.
I think it definitely applies more, but yeah. But
it's
we
AIP,
watched it, and which is AIP.
Those are genre movies, this isn't intended to be high art. This isn't Sweetback's Badass Song. This is people making movies to sell tickets.
Yeah, for sure. But it was something I actually really enjoyed. I think I enjoyed watching it on the Discord with everyone. I thought it was really fun. I guess a little brief synopsis is about a woman named Sugar Hill, who is a photographer, which we found out way late in the movie.
Yeah, halfway through the movie.
She is a fashion photographer who her boyfriend is murdered by mobsters, and she goes to a voodoo priestess and has her summon Baron Samedi, Lord of the Dead, and he helps her gain revenge on these guys. So Baron, how'd you pronounce it? Samedi?
It's Samedi. It's the French word for Wednesday, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. So Samedi is played by Pedro Colley, or his stage name is Don Pedro Colley. And as we were watching it, one of our friends was looking up on IMDb and saw that Pedro was born in Klamath Falls, the small Southern Oregon town that I am living in now, having moved from Portland. And which I thought was pretty crazy. So I looked him up a little bit. He was in a bunch of stuff. He was in, the Daniel Boone show with Fess Parker. He was in THX 1138.
Whoa.
And but he's best known for playing a sheriff in The Dukes of Hazzard. And he
really recurring or one time?
I think just a couple times.
Okay.
Because not known for its strong black characters.
No.
So, but yeah, so, I asked around some of the people that had worked at the library for a long time. I was like, "Hey, did you ever hear of an actor? He lived here. He was born here. He ended up dying here. He lived in a cabin in his old age, his retirement. He lived in a cabin on Rocky Point, which is a pretty rural part of the county. And Yeah, someone at the library has been here in town a long time. Was just like, oh yeah, I've heard of some actor that lived on Rocky Point. He was in Dukes of Hazzard, but that was all they knew. So I found out that he went to Klamath Union High School, which is the same high school my wife went to. And I was just like, wow, it's so cool. And then I was like, wait a second, I work at the library. We have every yearbook from the high schools here going back to the 30s. And so I was like, shit, I'm going to look him up. I found all four. I found his freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior photos. He was, he went on to be kind of a track star. He went on a track scholarship to U of O, and he almost made the Olympic team. He got real close in 1960. But so I found his track photo. His, he was in the math club. Yes, just like all these things, and it was great, and it was really cool going through these yearbooks too. This is a town with, as honestly as most towns in Oregon are, it has a pretty bad history of racial bias and injustice.
Yeah,
Oregon was a sundown state until way later than you would think. Way later than
you want.
Yeah, you don't even want to think about it. And so from what I can gather, reading these yearbooks, he was one of two black students at KU. And it was interesting. As I was looking through, there was the other black man that went to that high school was named Calvin. Calvin something, I can't remember what it was, but he was like a huge star. Like his picture was everywhere. Like with Pedro Colley, like they misspelled his name in his freshman photo. I was just like, oh, that hurts. Like that's bad. But this guy Calvin, like he was the football star, he was the track star, he was everything. Like he was obviously like very popular. And there was this page that had like the most popular couples. And like one of them was, it had all these couples like, oh, cutest couple, like best dancer. And then it had Calvin. And obviously what was his white girlfriend, it said best pals.
Oh,
I was like, oh,
okay.
It was 1951. I'm not shocked by that, but still I was like, fuck, that sucks. But, so that was interesting to be able to go and like kind of look through all this and realize, and I went through kind of like a lot of the paper archives, and there were a couple articles about him in the local Herald News talking about, that he was a big success. So it's like him and weirdly enough, James Ivory from Merchant and Ivory was born in Klamath Falls and lived here for many, many years.
What happened to Calvin though?
I don't know what happened to Calvin. I need to
college. Did he?
No, I looked him up. I didn't find anything about him. I looked him up. He's still alive and he lives here. He's 89. Wow. Yeah. Okay. That was one of the weird things. Like there's a few things. I don't know if I've just watched too much How To with John Wilson, but there's a couple points where I'm just like, especially that card. Maybe we'll put it up. That card I found that was the Elvis impersonator.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
like that guy. Yeah. So Alicia found this crazy card of this guy who's an auctioneer and Elvis impersonator. He only does it for charity. No charge. I looked at that. I'm like, I just want to call this guy up and just go to a gig with him. I just want to do like a mini doc of this.
How do we
I really want to do that. So I don't know. I just need to call him and just ask questions, or at least be like, hey, do you have like footage? Do you have he doesn't have a website. He has his fucking card is at like the rental place, where you rent a carpet cleaner or a power washer. It's just a stack of cards at this place. Anyhow, I'm getting way off topic here. I'm getting into the woods of. Yeah.
This is what the bonus show should be. I'm obsessed with that guy.
Oh, me too, man. I need to know more. I want to know more about this guy.
I want to hear his Elvis impressions.
And is he? So he says he's an Elvis impersonator and auctioneer.
Yeah.
But is it both? Like,
does he do auctioneering as Elvis? Right.
Only for charity. I mean, we need to make some kind of fake charity, like some kind of gala auction or something. Like I want Nathan's The Rehearsal amount of money to put in this and build
Holy
this
shit.
Thing. Oh man, so
Man, I would
cool.
love to do a short film about that guy. Like,
Yeah, right. We need to do this.
because like Elvis impressions are like the one of the most common and worst
Mhm.
done. Like, I want to make a short film in the late '90s called Seinfelding, which was just me talking to
Mhm.
people on the street to go, give me your Seinfeld impression, because everyone thinks they can do Seinfeld and nobody sounds like him. Like, what's the deal with these people? You know, like it wouldn't be a long film. It just needs to be 4 or 5 minutes, but it's just like how wildly varying and off
Mhm.
everyone does him, and they all
Yeah, but I
do
like
it.
that this guy doesn't even be like, I'm the best thing. He's like, if Elvis was short, bald, fat, ugly, and untalented, we'd be twins. And like I said to you, if this was in Portland or in Seattle, I'd be like, that's really funny. Like whoever did that, that's a funny joke. Like
Yep.
that's pretty funny. This is not a joke. Like I guarantee this guy is
Oh
real.
my god! I was just reading this collection, Savage Empire, of like the early Mike Grell warlord stuff.
Oh
And,
yeah,
and
yeah,
in the intro, he's talking about like the first time he went to speak at some college, and like the student who was like his attache person was like, "Oh hi, you're Mike Grell?" And he's like, "Uh
yeah.
huh," and she's like, "Oh, okay, well, we're speaking in here," and she's leading him, and he's like disappointed, and she's like, "No," and he's like, am I balder, fatter, shorter? What? You know, than you thought I'd be. And she's like, no, I thought you looked like Warlord. And he's like, yeah, I actually get that a lot. I saw it made me laugh when he said that.
Yeah, that's really really funny. So, anyhow, look forward to Stargod content of the
Yeah.
short documentary
Oh my
about
god.
our local Elvis impersonator auctioneer. Charity only.
Oh man. Yeah, we need to get a
Okay.
charities
Yeah.
stat.
So, sorry. Okay. So yeah, back to this film. Yeah. Baron Samedi, played by Don Pedro Colley, was great. I mean, I don't know. Like, I kind of gave you the bare bones of the plot,
Yeah.
and yeah. I mean, what did you think of this?
So did you mention that the zombies are all slaves that died on the trip over from Guinea during the slave
No,
trade?
because that's a
So
cool.
yeah, it's a cool note that Baron Somni resurrects them as these hitmen for Diana Sugar Hill,
Sugar Hill.
to get her vengeance. And he didn't mention that that her fiance is killed by a white mob. I mean, it's implied obviously by the mob. The mob is usually white, but it's led by Robert Quarry. Um, and he had done AIP films like the two Count Yorga, the vampire movies, which I highly recommend. They, I think Arrow just released Blu-rays of those two movies, and they're super good. Early '70s vampire movies that the vampire movies were super tired because of Hammer and oversaturation in the '60s, but AIP cranked out these two really charming vampire movies in the early '70s, starring Robert Quarry as the titular vampire, and I highly recommend them. This was the last film he did for AIP as part of his contract. So I loved him as the villain.
He was
And
good.
he had this little henchman, much like the Lex Luthor's henchman in the Superman movie, but she's super racist. But she's kind of that same like ditzy, dumb gangster mall, whatever.
Super racist.
But super racist.
Yeah.
Through this whole thing, just by dint of it being a voodoo movie, I just assumed this was in Louisiana, but come to find out in the end, like, oh, it's in Houston. Like, oh, okay, and it was filmed in Houston. Like,
Yep.
everything was Houston. The Voodoo Institute, where Diana does some research, is like, Houston College or something like that. But the other thing that was weird was we were just talking before we started recording that I did not know that Robert Quarry, the Don of the mob or whatever, his henchman is named Fabulous, and it's the guy that played Mac on Night Court. And it just, I still can't process. I'm like trying to think back what that dude looked like. It's like I didn't even see him in that guy at all. But
No. I mean, I think we would have. Yeah, he did not look like him at all.
so yeah, I mean, basically, this is a revenge movie. Her fiance owns this place called Club Haiti in Houston. The Robert Quarry and his mob approach them and say, "Sell to us or else." He refuses. He gets gunned down. She goes out and finds Mama Maitresse in the jungle, offers her soul up to Baron Samedi in exchange for vengeance, and she gets an army, a retinue of dead slave zombies that come back and knock off his mob one by one. So if you're familiar with the mechanics of any kind of revenge story, where it's, like 10 little Indians or whatever, it's just like, it's super satisfying in this really weird kind of like way of just like counting down and marking off notches on your, whatever. And I have to say, what's her name? Marky Bay. I would watch her do her taxes. I thought she was so fucking gorgeous. So I had a huge screen crush on her the whole time. And I liked that her hair was down when she was Diana Hill, and then when she was being Sugar Hill, and she was like employing her zombies and like saying these menacing, cool, like snarky lines to the people before they got murdered. Her hair was up and like in this kind of cool like afro thing.
So cool, and her outfits too.
Yeah, and her outfit kind of switched and changed, so it's like almost like she was being possessed by her lust for vengeance or something. So her aspect changed. Cool. It starts off with a really dodgy kind of song. Honestly, like it starts off with like people dancing and kind of like it starts off like, ooh, is this gonna be like super racist, like savages dancing into voodoo drums? And the song was really corny, but once that was out of the way, I totally dug it.
Yeah, even though I did have the song stuck in my head. Now, if I could sample some of the lyrics, I think it's International Voodoo Woman Does Her Thing at Night.
Who could forget?
Who could forget the timeless lyrics?
Oh man. Yeah. So this was filmed for $350,000. I think it was moderately successful. It was cut down for TV. It was renamed something like The Zombies of Sugar Hill for the TV version. It's just it's a staple of blaxploitation cinema, I think. And it's
weirdly
I've been wanting
enough,
to see forever.
Even if it's wasn't cut down, like this is a PG movie. It is not gory. There's nothing sexual in it. It is just it's very tame for blaxploitation for sure. I mean, because so much of that is exploitative.
No, it was cut down to include ads. I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
Yeah.
Content.
No, and but I gotta say the zombies looked pretty cool.
Oh man,
the zombies look actually really cool.
Yes, I highly recommend it. They look like they're cobweb covered, and they have like these mercury eyeballs, like their eyes look like silver spheres. Really haunting. And there's cool makeup on them to like accentuate the ribs and like their kind of sinewy form, so they look skeletal while still being whole desiccated bodies that rose up from the swamps.
It looks good. It does not look low budget.
No, not at all.
It looks good.
They're a highlight for me of this. And I'm seeing on Wikipedia that rapper MF Doom sampled several clips from this.
I saw that.
Music. So not surprising.
No.
Lots of great audio in this. Lots of great visuals. Cool music once you get past that opening title sequence song, which I was wincing through personally. But it was funny.
It was funny.
Yeah. So AIP had previously had some hits with this genre with Blackula and Scream Blackula Scream. Scream Blackula Scream is specifically voodoo linked, so it's on our list. Blackula was more about an African prince who was cursed with vampirism and came back. I love Blackula. I think it's a super entertaining, low budget movie, but Scream Blackula Scream has a voodoo element, so we're probably gonna watch that one, and it has Pam Grier. So fucking.
I haven't seen that one.
I've seen parts of it on TV, but not the whole thing. So, what's your claw? Claw me.
Claw up for me. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it needed more wrestling.
Watch it again. It did need more wrestling.
No, I enjoyed it, and again, Marky Bay. I would watch her make a grocery list. So
fuck yeah.
I think she's gorgeous. I think someone said during the watch along that she ended up hosting like a cruise
Murder mystery cruises.
Murder mystery
out of LA.
cruises around LA
Yeah.
with her husband. Whatever. She's beautiful. She can do whatever she wants.
I'm in. Yeah, she can do whatever the fuck she wants. I'm in. You, me, and Michael. Let's do it.
Yeah. So our next watch along, which is going to be again on Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, is a little mystery. So we have an episode of a television show, and I haven't told Jacob this yet, but we're going to start with a short animated feature, an episode of a cartoon that also has a voodoo theme. So there's 2 voodoo themed TV offerings, shortly over 60 minutes, all combined.
Nice. One secret I know, and one secret I have not been privy to. So I'm excited.
Yes. So please join us. If you're not on Discord yet, our Patreon links always have our Patreon posts always have the link to that in there. I also finally got us a link tree on our Instagram page, which has Threadless, blah, 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 Libsyn, everything all in one goddamn thing, which is long overdue. So I used to go and update our link every time I did anything. So finally, it's just one spot.
Perfect.
So join us Sunday for that. I can't wait to watch those together with you and see what you guys think.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited.
Yeah. And then coming up, we have a Satana story. We were someone requested that we do the Satana stories from the magazines. So we're going to do that. We're going to start off with a comic story, and Jacob and I will read through it like we do, like we did last season with Ghost Rider #3, and just kind of fly through it a little bit and react to the pages. And I'll drop the art in, so it's definitely video forward. Audio won't be quite as full as the video version, so it'll be more of an interactive kind of video thing. But that's coming up soon for Star Gods and Pack members.
Perfect. No, it sounds good.
Yeah, if you're hanging out there at that demon spawn level and you're like, shouldn't I really do that? Or whatever. Maybe.
Kick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I'm excited for that. So yeah, we'll see you next time on the bonus show. And for our hail tonight, I'm going to say, Hail Baron Samdi.
Yes.
I'm Pedro Colley.
And Bat Bald Elvis.
Yeah.